to get indulged in the activities of SBU on a routine basis, as they remain involved in the long-term survival of the firm, which is for 4 or 5 years or more. So see here again. So,
excuse me, ma'am. I'm so
yes,
sorry to interrupt you.
pardon?
Hello?
Yes.
Ma'am, actually, can you please reshare the screen? The screen is not visible. I'm actually recording. The screen is not visible.
Okay. I'll share it again.
All right, ma'am.
Yeah. Just a moment. Yes. Is it visible now? The first slide?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible now.
Second slide?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible.
Third slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we are on this slide. So as far as corporate strategic planning is concerned, in planning phase, this is what I was discussing: corporate planning, then divisional planning at divisional level, then at business level, then planning for a particular product or the product category, depending on the size of the business and the kind of the products the company is dealing with. Then whatever we have planned, we have to implement, for which we organize various activities, grouping of similar activities with homogeneity within the group and heterogeneity among different groups. That is what we refer to as organizing. And then we execute it. That is what we refer to as implementation. Once we are able to plan effectively, keeping in view the vision and mission of the company, then we have to implement it. Implement, that is, we have to execute. Okay. Execution phase, then we have to, the process doesn't stop here, that we have set objectives, we have planned at various levels, whether corporate or division or business or product, and then we organize and implement. Another important aspect is to control, to measure the results against the objectives that we have set in the beginning. So we measure the results, then we diagnose, we identify deviations. So we can have 3 types of deviations. What are these? Either we get results according to expectations, or less than expectations, or more than expectations. So there can be 3 situations. So we identify the deviations, and according to deviations, we take corrective actions. So I hope I am able to clarify the things to you. Okay. So we take corrective actions, and then if there occurs deviation at the point of implementation, we re-implement. If there occur deviations at the time of planning, we replan. And if there occur deviations at the time of setting up of objectives, then we redefine the objectives. So all this we come to know during evaluation phase only, controlling phase only. So this is what I was trying to share with you. Okay. After this, we can go through other aspects of system-wide methodology for formulating strategic plans to accomplish companies' long-term goals at SBU level or business unit level, as well as at corporate level. Companies which have vision, definitely they focus on achieving long-term goals. That is the objective of the company. So the top management of the organization focuses more on planning aspect, and they remain indulged in long-term planning, long-term survival of the business. Okay. So how can we define mission of the corporate? Mission is something that is for present, but for longer run. That is where we are, what we are doing at present. And if we continue to carry out our business activities the same way we have been doing earlier, where we will reach. And vision is for future and for longer run. So if we what is our dream? What can we do to convert our dream into reality? That is where we want to go in future, in long run. So an organization exists to accomplish something over time. The mission may change to respond to new opportunities or market conditions. And company should focus on addressing the questions posed by Peter Drucker, like what is our business, who is our customer, and in terms of customer, what is the value, how they define value, how customers define value, and not the marketers. What is our business and what will it be, what it should look like. So successful companies continuously ask and answer them. Means it is an ongoing process. It is not a one-time process. Another basic difference between vision and mission, if we continue to discuss here, is vision you may narrate in few words, like what you dream of. But mission statement is in black and white and is providing more concrete information about the state of the business. So let us see the example here from Amazon. Amazon.com changed its mission from being the world's largest online bookstore to aspiring to be the world's largest online store. So please focus here. I hope you are able to notice the change here from bookstore to store. So with passage of time, companies may have started with few products initially, but later on, when they keep on adding more products, so sometimes they may need to redefine their businesses. This is what we are trying to say here. So I hope now we can define the mission of the corporate. So keeping in view the mission of the corporate, we can define the business in terms of products, in terms of markets. That is how business is going to cater to satisfying the needs of the customers. That is business as customer satisfying process. So we can frame the mission statement of the business as focus on limited number of goals. The company may have planning to achieve various goals, but as far as practical aspects is concerned, it may be difficult for the company to focus on various goals at one point of time. So what they can do is they can focus on one or few goals at a particular point of time. They may focus more on the major policies and values defined by the company with the long-term view. And these should be defined in a manner that they can be memorized easily so that we can keep these short, keep this meaningful as far as possible. For example, to define the corporate mission of Tata. So the corporate mission of Tata International is to be the most reliable global network for customers and suppliers that deliver value through products and services. So I hope we can easily remember, and it carries meaning also, as we have discussed in the definition. So to be a responsible value creator for all our stakeholders. So who are stakeholders? Any person who has interest in the activities of the business may be defined as stakeholder of the business. So they may be customers, suppliers, government, public. So all those who have interest in the activities of the business. I have already tried to explain this term strategic business unit. Now to make it more concrete, let us discuss in black and white. So to manage different businesses, each strategic business unit, as I have tried to explain with example, requires its own specific strategy. Strategy is the set of directions or courses of actions taken to counteract competitors' acts. So each business requires its own strategy. As we have discussed, competition prevails in a particular industry. So they need to have an edge over the competitor. So the strategies required for textile business may vary from those required for petrochemicals business, which in turn may vary from the strategies required for other businesses like consultancy or insurance or finance and many more. So it is classified into various number of strategic business units which possess three types of attributes. For example, it is one business of the company or a collection of related businesses, those which are related to each other, but can plan separately from the remaining businesses of the company. As I have already mentioned that it has its own set of competitors from its own particular industry. So it has a manager or a strategic business unit head responsible for planning strategically and for making it profitable as far as performance is concerned, and who is going to evaluate and control the factors affecting the profitability of the business in the long run. The purpose of identifying the company's SBUs or strategic business units is to develop strategies which vary from other and accordingly allocate appropriate resources, maybe the financial ones, and they can assign specific resources to a particular SBU so that they can continue to run these SBUs profitably in the long run. Here, one thing is to be noted that SBU is also a part of top level only. The reason being, the powers of SBU of a multi-business unit, the powers of SBU head of a multi-business unit are equivalent to the powers of CEO of a single business. In case of one business, SBU and corporate level are same, but in case of multi-business units, one corporate has many SBUs. Now to explain it further, The powers of SBU head of Reliance Jio are equivalent to that of the powers of CEO of Airtel. So, to define the role of marketing strategies, we need to plan a particular path to achieve the organization's objectives for marketing functional area. With the availability of the resources which are limited at a particular point of time to achieve the goals already set in the beginning. The purpose is to create or to spread awareness about the organization, to make it noticeable, to make it recognized, that is to enhance the visibility of the organizations. At least everyone should know that such an organization exists which can cater to satisfying our particular set of needs. And definitely, as we have been discussing since beginning today itself, that the top management of the organization is responsible for planning. Not only planning, but also for setting up of vision, mission, and other long-term strategies. So, how we can define marketing strategy? It is the layout. It lays out target markets and the value proposition that will be offered based on an analysis of the best market opportunities as defined by Kotler. What does it mean? What we mean by target markets? So the companies already, first of all, after extensive research, they identify the markets which where they can find their prospects and they can best cater to satisfying their needs at a particular point of time by making available or by making manufacturing or offering related goods or services to fulfill their needs, and that offer they can made in terms of value. For value, we have discussed in basic terms the overall value that the customer is trying to assess after purchasing and after consuming the product. And it has to be better than those of competitors. And companies try to explore various marketing opportunities for the purpose. So, in marketing strategy, we can focus basically on 3 C's. That is the customers we are trying to get into the business. Then just doing our business activities, performing our business activities, and catering to fulfilling the needs of the customers is not just sufficient in the business. We also need to know what our competitors are doing, because we have competition. We need to have an edge over the competitors. We need to be better than them. Also, we need to know our capabilities of the organization. If we get more and more orders, but we are not able to get these fulfilled well in time, or if we are able to identify the needs of the customers, but we are not able to satisfy them, then what will happen? Customers will leave silently without giving maybe any feedback. So, customers, who are they? When, where, and how do they buy? What motivates them? How is market currently segmented? That is, know our customer, know our prospects. Here we are talking about prospects, the potential buyers of the company. Prospects, the potential buyers who are likely to buy from us in the near future. So, how then the question arises, how do we know how and where the customers are going to buy, how much, and why they will feel motivated to buy anything from us, and all that aspect. So that is why we go for extensive marketing research. Then, who are our competitors? Who are they? what they are doing, which kind of marketing strategies they are pursuing. So that, like, if our objective is to cater to the customers in a manner better than those of our competitors, same is the objective of our competitor. So it is essential to know their next move, their strategies, their courses of actions, their strengths and their weaknesses. So doing our task is not just enough. We also need to know more and more about the competitors, their areas of vulnerability, and what is their future plan and how they are likely to develop over next few years, so that we can also make strategies better than them. Capabilities. So here we are referring to the strengths of the organizations as well as the weaknesses in various market segments in which the company is operating. Now, again, you might be curious to know what we mean by market segments. So what companies do when they go for extensive research, they identify customers with similar needs and customers with varied needs. So they keep customers with similar needs in one group and another set of customers with another set of needs in another group. That is homogeneity within the group, but heterogeneity among different groups. That is what we know, different segments. We label them as segments. And if all the customers in a particular market have similar needs, we consider entire market as one segment only, that is homogeneity. For example, in India, we can have customers with varied needs in different states, maybe related to eatables, cultural values, lifestyle, accessories, apparels, and many more aspects. So, what levels of investments are available for the company, and how might the capabilities best be leveraged? So, to grow our company, our business faster, our means the business of the company faster, rapidly, companies need to formulate various strategies in marketing, such as they need to build influence, they need to have thoughtful leaders, they need to have effective social media channels, they need to build relationships, maybe via email with the customers or the prospects, they need to have blogging, but in a strategic manner. Then again, through SEO, influential research can be done. Also, one of the most important aspects is to listen, survey, and learn. Listening is much more important. Rather than keep on saying what we know, we need to understand. We need to identify, maybe by observation, what our customers are looking for. Not only what they want, but what is the demand, what is their ability to buy, apart from need. Also, we need to know, we need to learn how to behave as per the customer and to cater to satisfying their needs in the best possible manner. Then, as we know, youth of the today is tech savvy. They spend most of the time on social media. So how can we explore or utilize this channel for effective advertising? That we refer as social media advertising. We are going to discuss all these things in detail in future, one by one, like the concept of STP, segmentation, targeting, positioning, marketing mix, comprising 4 or 7 Ps, and many more. So what is the marketing planning process? That is the second part of the session. So what we mean by planning process? We need to understand the difference between planning and or activity and process. Group of activities is known as a process. So please note that marketing planning is a process. That is a systematic approach to develop marketing goals, strategies, and implementation tactics. So now we are moving towards implementation. What we mean by goals? As we have discussed about vision, it is for future but for longer run, whereas goals are again for future but for shorter duration, maybe up to 1 to 3 years. 3 to 5 may be medium run, and more than 5 years may be referred to as long run. Similarly, mission is for future, for present but for long run, whereas objectives are for present but for shorter run. Another important point that we need to know here is the difference between goals and objectives. There are basically three major differences, like goals are open-ended, objectives are closed-ended. Objectives are measurable. Objectives are time-bound. Objectives are quantifiable. For example, if I say to increase sales, this can be an example by 5%. This can be an example of goal. But in case of objectives, we have to specify to increase sales by 5% in Q3 of FY 23-24. So it has become time bound, it has become measurable, and it has become quantifiable. And it is closed-ended also, defining boundaries, and which act as standards later on against which we compare performance. So we are now moving towards implementation, that is operations or tactics. So it may be adapted to a wide variety of situations, from the launch of a new firm or practice area to repositioning of an existing firm, even the routine planning of new business development activities. So as the term specifies, whether we are a new entrant in the market in a particular industry, we are a new firm, or we are carrying out our business activities for long run, but now our performance is going little slow, we need to position again. So what can be the strategies? As we know, in case of Maggi also, once customers complained or the food FPO found some anomalies, then they repositioned or relaunched the product or the brand Maggi, and they succeeded. So the benefits of the planning process can be, it encourages us to review our old habits and assumptions, and with passage of time, we need to know whether these can still be carried forward or we need to bring a change. And by adding new facts, it can help us reduce the risk to minimum. Then, or to reduce the risk to maximum, I should say. Risks should be reduced to the maximum possible extent, and we can be accountable for our actions, and it is proactive rather than reactive, and this can be the basis of having an edge over the competitor or a strategic advantage. So here we can discuss about the different stages of marketing planning process. To start with, most of the terms we have already discussed. Mission or the mission statement leading to the objectives at the corporate level. As we have discussed, it is for present, but for longer run, it is in black and white. It has to be clear, short, specific, and meaningful. And accordingly, objectives of the corporate can be defined, which are again for present, but for shorter duration. So we know we have studied in management also to divide the whole into parts to accomplish. Again, when we join the parts as per the performance, we will get the whole again. Similarly, when we scan the environment prevailing outside the organization, which is beyond the control of the organization, that is the external environment. Again, which is further divided into two parts that we have discussed in the previous session. Micro, that is the elements which have direct impact on the activities of the business but beyond the control of the business, such as competitors, customers, suppliers, intermediaries, and the macro environmental elements as we have discussed in terms of PESTEL, that is political, economic, socio-cultural, technological, environmental, and legal. Similarly, from where we will get to know about the opportunities available for the organization that organization can exploit and the threats for the organization which organization has to stay away from. Similarly, by scanning the internal environment which is within the control of the organization, they can identify their strengths as well as their weaknesses. They can exploit opportunities in the external environment based on their strengths, and they can either convert their weaknesses to strengths or they can stay away from their weaknesses. Similarly, the goals and strategy formulation. Goals, something for future, but for short run. So companies need to set the goals. They need to formulate strategies. That is, they need to define the directions to be given to the members for effective implementation or the courses of actions to be taken so that they can achieve or accomplish those goals within the stipulated time period. Then they can implement those goals or they can implement the strategies to accomplish these goals and the goals that they have set in the beginning. So there are two aspects. One is the goal and strategy formulation, where we set, where we define at corporate and business level. Then we implement these at functional and operational level. And marketing is one of the functional areas with various operations such as product, price, place, promotion, and which again have various operations such as in case of promotions we can have advertising, then print media, electronic media, and similarly various other modes like social media marketing and all. Then we have feedback and control. That is, we need to monitor the changes taking place in the environment. Here, one point that we need to note is when we plan and when we implement, there may occur certain time lag. It may be 6 months, it may be 1 year, or so, depending on the kind of the strategy we are going to execute or the decision we are going to implement, such as joint ventures or so. So there may occur some changes in the environment. So, and this change in the environment may affect the implementation phase, which may deviate from that of planning phase. So we need to identify closely those gaps, and then we need to formulate strategies accordingly. We need to take corrective actions accordingly so that we are able to formulate effective strategies to accomplish the goals. So here is the description. So a mission statement is used by a company to explain in simple and concise terms its purpose of being, why we are here, why we exist. The statement is generally short, either a single sentence or a short paragraph. It is used to identify and understand the mission of the company. Maybe it is written down and promoted throughout the organization. Maybe you visit any organization, you may find various places where you can easily see the vision, mission, and quality policy of the company. So, a mission statement explains why a company is in business and how it can benefit the consumers. And it is focused on the objectives of the entire corporate as a whole and is applicable to all its businesses. For example, mission of Tata International we just discussed in the beginning of the session today. Again, let me repeat. To be the most reliable global network for customers and suppliers that deliver value through products and services. To be a responsible value creator for all our stakeholders. Now, let us focus our discussion on SWOT. As for strengths, I have just discussed, we are able to identify while scanning the internal environment. So what do you do well? What are the factors that you control? What is your competitive advantage? How are your products and services superior to others in marketplace? We all know whether it is Tata Nano or Maruti or other such products which have an edge over the competitors because of their strength of pricing. Similarly, Hyundai is known for technology. So every organization has its own set of strengths which formulate the basis for having an edge over the competitor. In case of Apple, it is their innovation, again which comes under the product technology. Then the weaknesses. What are the areas where we are not able to perform well? And what is binding or limiting the ability of the firm to succeed? Where do limited resources affect your success? What are my weaker areas? One company may have effective financial resources, but they may not have good or capable persons in top positions. Another firm may have capable persons in top positions, but they may be facing financial or some other crunch. So every company has its own set of strengths and weaknesses, but these remain under the control of the company. Opportunities. What are untapped markets? Obviously, when a company is a national player, it has not yet tapped the international market. And even if it is an international organization, maybe an MNC, multinational one, it may not have tapped various nations. So, what are the untapped markets where company can plan to enter in future? What is the potential for new business? Is there any demand or is there likely to be any demand in future for their products? Can you take advantage of any market trends? Is there any new market trend that we can exploit opportunities accordingly? Then, what are various threats for my company? That is various obstacles. Which external factors such as political, technological, economical can cause a problem for the company? These are beyond the control, such as unstable political environment in some nations. Then as far as opportunities are concerned, the new marketing trend that prevailed, especially during COVID, is of online, and some specific product requirements that boosted all of a sudden, such as masks, sanitizer, and so on. So what are various goals and strategy formulation? So goal, as I have discussed earlier, also something for future, but for shorter run. So these indicate what a corporate wants to achieve So strategy is a game plan for getting there. So how can we formulate goals? We can set goals that we can measure. We can develop specific goals for the planning period. These are the objectives that are specific with respect to magnitude and time. I have already explained this with example. Then strategic formulation, that is marketing plan to achieve the goals. Then the target audience, then identifying and set a marketing budget, then developing marketing mix decisions. So what we have planned in carrying out various marketing activities so that we are able to achieve our goals in the stipulated time. Then which market or which segment of customers we are trying to target in a particular phase. What kind of financial resources we have, how much are these sufficient enough to carry out our activities, and what is the planning to utilize, that is the budget in financial aspects. Then marketing mix decisions. Now again the question arises, what we mean by marketing mix. Marketing mix is a tool in the hands of the marketer in the form of 4 P's in case of goods, such as product, price, place and promotion, and additional 3 P's of people, process and physical evidence in case of services, so that they can generate desired response from the target market. Again, the question is what we mean by generating desired response from the target market. That is, whenever customer plans to buy a particular product, they buy our brand only, not the competing brand. That is the objective. So, as far as implementation phase in marketing planning process is concerned, we are putting in efforts to convert our plans into action. We have set objectives, we have defined vision, we have defined mission, we have set goals, we have defined objectives, we have defined our business. Then we have carried out SWOT. Then we have formulated strategies at corporate level, then SBU level. Then we have evaluated various strategies. Then we have chosen a particular strategy for implementation. Then we have made a strategic plan to implement those strategies. Then we have identified the project to be carried out. We have taken care of all the procedures at central, state, and local level. Then we have allocated resources. We have defined the structure. We have defined behavioral and leadership aspects. And now is the time to implement what we have planned, to take action on what we have planned. So we need to focus minutely on how and when to launch our plan. We need to reach out to customers, but how, when, where, and the various ways. And what can be various activities to be performed at operational level. So here we will be talking more about SOPs, that is standard operating procedures, and other related terminologies. Then comes the feedback and the control. So we can discuss more about operational level activities here, or reaching out to customers here. Like when we are going to launch, suppose we are going to launch a new product, what we are going to do initially, we may be using advertising mode. For example, a particular of us are fond of taking coffee, but being a working population or due to other responsibilities, we may felt that we are short of time and we find less time or no time to beat the coffee. What should we do? And what can be done as a marketer here to fulfill the needs of the customers who prefer to have beaten coffee, but they have no time to beat coffee powder. So ITC, I hope some of you must be already aware, they stepped in, they offered such product, beaten coffee, Sunbeam, but offering the product or creating the product is just not enough. After extensive research, they are able to identify the need, they are able to make the product, they are able to make it available in the market. But we need to spread awareness among the customers that such a product exists which can best cater to satisfy their needs of a particular product. For this, here comes the role of spreading or reaching out to customers, maybe through extensive advertising. So they started promoting in various ways, be it the print media, newspapers, be it the electronic media, maybe LEDs or various channels, or be it the social media, because different customers may be using different channels. So company is trying to take advantage of all. And this is not just enough. They are also going for outdoor advertising and various other aspects of promotions. So once customers get to know about that such a particular product exists that they can just buy and utilize, just have a cup of milk and put the beaten coffee and enjoy the coffee without spending time on beating it. So this is how marketers can effectively create awareness. Now, also the role of the marketer doesn't end here. Now they need to examine the changes taking place in the environment. They need to identify the strategies to accomplish the goals. They need to regularly take the feedback and measure and evaluate the results of the plan, and they need to improve the results. Monitor the actions of the competitors also. Company identified the need of the customers of beaten coffee. They have offered the product, they have made the product, they have set the production units, they have set distribution channels so that whenever customer reaches to a particular outlet, the product must be readily available. Customer has purchased the product and consumed it. Now what next? What is the feedback? What is the response? What is the number of units sold? And is it as per the company's expectations or their research, what they have identified the demand? Is it more than that? Is it less than that? All those things. But this is not just enough. No doubt company is going to take corrective actions at implementation, planning and objective setting phase. But they also need to know what their competitors are planning in this direction. What is their future plan, so that they can take related actions when in time. So this involves a series of steps such as where are we now, that is mission, where do we want to be, that is vision, how might we get there, which way is the best, how can we ensure arrival. So where are we now? That is, we are talking about marketing audits, ratio analysis, competitor analysis, as well as customer analysis. Where do we want to be? So here we are talking about mission and objectives, segmentation, T for targeting and P for positioning. We are going to discuss these terms in detail in times to come. T for targeting means companies, when they have segmented the market, they may not target all the segments at one point of time. So they identify one or few segments which they can target at a particular point of time. And accordingly, they position their product in the minds of the customer. So as for segmentation, T for targeting, P for positioning. Accordingly, they formulate various strategies. Then how might we get there? That is, we are talking about combination of 4 or 7 P's, which we refer to as marketing mix. Which way is the best? That is, we are talking about choice criteria and screening and modeling. How can we ensure arrival? That is, we are discussing about the problems to overcome the challenges we have been facing and the management control and related decisions. So, as far as types of planning is concerned, strategic planning is concerned with the long term and has broad focus covering competitive positioning and the development of new products. Operational or tactical marketing planning focuses on short-term and day-to-day marketing activities, including price cut and customer communication. Like company has introduced a new product as beaten coffee, maybe a strategic planning, but to promote the product, company may be making some promotional strategies that such as 20% off or buy one get one free or anything. Then it may come under tactical marketing planning, or how they are communicating with customers through various modes of communication. So as far as time frame is concerned, strategic planning is for long term, whereas tactical planning is for short term. Focus of strategic planning is broad, whereas of that of tactical planning is narrow or limited. The key task of strategic planning is to define market and its competitive position in the market or the industry. Whereas tactical planning remains concerned with day-to-day marketing activities only. Information and problem solving in case of strategic planning is unstructured, external, and speculative. Whereas in case of tactical, it is structured, internal, and repetitive in nature. For example, strategic planning. In strategic planning, we go for segmentation entity, that is new product development. Whereas in case of operational planning, we can discuss about price discounting, various communication campaigns like road shows, setting up canopies, outdoor advertising, and many more. So here are some of the references as I have given earlier also. You may refer to Kotler and Keller. I have been suggesting since beginning, 14th edition. Then Rajan Saxena, Indian author, 2020 edition. Besides this, you may go for Nama Kumar and Minakshi, 2016 edition by Vikas Publishing. Then Kamlesh B. Kaur K. and Kaur A. Marketing Management, 3rd edition by Kalyani Publications. And also a link is given for your reference. So to summarize, today we have discussed broadly about corporate strategic planning and marketing planning process. To summarize, we can discuss corporate strategic planning is a company-wide approach at the business unit and corporate level for developing strategic plans to achieve a longer term vision. And here is the outline diagram for the same, where we have different phases of planning comprising corporate planning, divisional planning, business planning, and product planning, followed by implementation phase of organizing and implementing sub-activities, and again in turn followed by the controlling aspect, where we measure results, diagnose results, and take corrective actions. Whereas in case of marketing planning process, we have discussed the concept as a systematic approach to develop marketing goals, strategies, and implementation tactics. It may be adapted to a wide variety of situations from the launch of a new firm or practice area to the repositioning of an existing firm, even the routine planning of a new business development activities. So we have discussed about its various aspects, like we have mentioned about its mission, SWOT analysis, goals and strategy formulation, implementation, feedback and control. And I hope this is sufficient for the day. Besides this, we have discussed the difference between strategic and tactical planning. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll see